What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to Friday night's late night agenda. Your weekend has officially begun. Of course, the Reds aren't in action until Monday night against Everton in the Merseyside derby. There will be a full preview of that game coming up. I think Connor's going to put it out tomorrow morning, so do keep an eye out for that one. But tonight, I'm going to be looking at Liverpool's search for a centre-back and a little bit of talk around midfield as well. There's been a couple of names and suggestions thrown around, so I thought let's explore them and let's get stuck into it. So look, let me know your thoughts in the comment section as always. Please do drop a like on the video, and if you haven't hit that subscribe button, what the bloody hell are you waiting for? Top corner, let's go, hit that subscribe button. Right, let's start. Look, Liverpool need a centre-back. I think most of us will agree with that, and I think the fact that Joel Matip is likely to be leaving the club in the summer, as per Neil Jones and a couple of other journalists that have suggested that the whispers coming out of Anfield suggest that Matip will be moved on in the summer. That means Liverpool need a new centre-back. Then it just is a matter of what type of centre-back, how much budget are we working with. We all have one name in mind. You have it in mind. I have it in mind. It's the name we're going to be speaking about in a moment. You're absolutely spot on. Your instincts, as always, my friends, are correct. But it was enlightened a little bit further when we started to see some briefings that not only were Liverpool going to be looking for a centre-back, but they're going to be looking for a left-sided centre-back. See where I'm going with this, right? Yes, we are going to be speaking about Josko Gvardiol, of course, of RB Leipzig and of Croatia. Now, we all know if you want to win a Champions League, you have to have a Croatian in the team. That's just the law. Well, it's not really the law, but it's just a coincidence that keeps popping up. And look, we all know that Josko Gvardiol is somebody who we all admire, somebody who would be an absolutely perfect fit for the football club, and of course somebody who, not that this makes a huge difference, is a Liverpool fan and has professed his love for the club. So what do we know about Gvardiol at this moment in time? Well, we know that he signed a new contract with Leipzig in September time that kept him there until 2027. We also know that previously Chelsea have tested Leipzig's resolve with a €90 million offer that was rebuffed. Now that's where I start to get a little bit concerned, because we know we have a rebuild on our hands. We know that Jude Bellingham and any other midfielders we're likely to bring in will cost a lot of money. Do we have the possibility of signing a 90 or €100 million centre back on top of all of that? Honest answer is it's very doubtful with FSG at the helm, unless they take on other investment or they sell the club. That's a whole conversation for another day, and one that we've had many conversations about here on the channel. But today I just wanted to concentrate on Gvardiol for a minute, because I think you'll all agree with me. He is the perfect choice. He is a perfect fit for the way that we want to play, for the left side that we need, and of course to add to our collection of centre-backs, which isn't too shabby. Now, on Matip, I was a little bit surprised to hear that Joel may be moving on in the summer, but then again, you do have to take into account he has 1 year left on his Liverpool deal at the end of this season. But I would have lent more towards getting rid of Gomez, in all honesty, my friends. I have nothing against Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez is potentially a world-class centre-back, but that's potentially. We don't see enough consistency from Joe Gomez. He's been really unlucky with injuries, of course, but even though we signed that new deal, I would argue that we've seen 1.5 decent games from Joe. Manchester City and half of another game. That he's played well since he signed that new deal. So I'm not sold on the idea that he is going to be a long-term solution for Liverpool. I just can't see it yet, because he still ball watches a bit too much for my liking. But we do have Ibrahim Kanade, who seems to be Virgil van Dijk's long-term successor. We have the big man himself, Virg, who is back training, which is great news. He won't be available for the game against Everton. It comes a little bit too soon. On that, actually, Diogo Jota could be on the bench for that game. Not confirmed as of yet, but he could be on the bench, so keep an eye out on that one. He won't start, obviously, after being so long out, but to have him on the bench would be a great boost. So back to the centre-back situation. Look, if we were to just go and do up a dream list of players and positions, if we got to the centre-back position, I think we'll all agree that Josko Gvardiol would be, and his name's so much fun to say, by the way, Josko Gvardiol, it just rolls off the tongue. I think we'll all agree that he'd be right up to the top of the list. It just comes down to, again, pounds, shillings and pence, doesn't it? Can we afford him? How much money will Klopp be given? Because I'm in no doubt whatsoever that if the proposition was put to him, he would very, very much be up for the move to Liverpool because, as I've said, he's a fan. I gather he's probably a fan of the Anfield agenda as well. I mean, why wouldn't he be? Look at us, we're awesome. Anyway, to get back to the point, I'd love it. I'd love it to happen. I hope that FSG do take on investment or sell. My preference would be for a sale personally, but I understand it's looking more like. See, this is where I kind of take a bit of umbrage with this. I don't know if it is looking more likely that a potential sale is more likely. I know that's what they're briefing, but everything that they're doing with regards to their business objective seems to suggest more to me like they're getting ready for a full sale. But anyway, I'm getting carried away. So Gvardiol is a perfect fit. It all comes down to the money angle. So if FSG sell up or take on investment, maybe we have a chance. If they don't, I feel like we're going to have to look elsewhere unless we start selling off players again, which of course isn't a conversation any of us want to have, and a conversation, quite frankly, we shouldn't have to have as football fans. So I want to know your thoughts. Do you think Gvardiol is a perfect fit? Have you any other suggestions that you'd like to see mentioned or described around the Liverpool search for a centre-back? And also, do you think that Liverpool will be favourites if we even had the money to go in for Gvardiol? Because I've seen Real Madrid's name mentioned. Chelsea have obviously been suitors of his in the past, although they have brought in a centre-back. So I think it's a perfect fit. I do want to move on to a couple of other bits and pieces as well, by the way. So let's move on to a suggestion that Glenn Johnson, former Liverpool fullback Glenn Johnson, has suggested that Liverpool could do worse than looking at Youri Tielemans from Leicester City. We know his contract is up in the summer. We know Arsenal had previously been strongly linked with the guy, and I mean really, really strongly linked. But I have to say, I kind of agree with what Glenn Johnson is saying here. He said if Liverpool finished the summer and they signed N'Golo Kante and Youri Tielemans for free, that would be good business. And you know what? I kind of agree with Glenn on this one. Kante would be a bit more of a risk for me because he's starting to pick up injuries. He's obviously aging. But as a suitable option for Jurgen Klopp to have there if he wants to move Fabinho on. Because I get a feeling we may move Fabinho on this summer. And I don't think it would annoy too many Liverpool fans. Well, certainly the vibe that I've been getting when I've been speaking with you guys or when I've been in our Discord has been that, yeah, the disappointment levels wouldn't be too high if Fabinho was to be sold. Obviously, Stefan Bajicic's rise to glory, if we want to say that, has been magnificent and great to see. You've Tyler Morton, of course, on loan at Blackburn. So if you brought in N'Golo Kante, you still had Henderson there. You're not really helping the age profile much, though, are you? But Youri Tielemans, I think, on a free, look, I can understand it. And I'm kind of being a bit of a hypocrite here because I often say that sometimes I feel like Liverpool are only in for a certain player because they're free. And if they were to be sold, we wouldn't be interested. This is probably one of those examples. But I also think it's worth a punt, particularly in our position. We need that player to be a link between the midfield and the attack and to score goals. And we know that that's something that Youri Tielemans is capable of. So I wouldn't be against it as free transfers. If you could throw in a Jude Bellingham in there on top of that and then maybe get some money for a Gvardiol, you're not a million miles away if you add in the good youth players that we have. So I want to know your thoughts on it all. I know the transfer window is closed, but we still have to look ahead to the future. And right now, I'm trying to find any positives we can. Now, hopefully a massive positive comes on Monday when we beat Everton. I say when because I refuse to acknowledge the fact that we might not beat them, but I think that we will. And keep an eye out, as I said, for my preview coming up really soon. Connor will drop that video out. Again, I want to know your thoughts on it. So that is it for me on Friday, my friends. I have a couple of announcements that will be coming soon. Some of them big. One guest appearance somewhere, which is pretty big, to be honest with you. It's a bucket list thing, so do keep an eye out for that as well. Don't forget to check out the Anfield Agenda socials. You can find us on TikTok, Anfield Agenda _, on Twitter, just Anfield Agenda, on Instagram as well, again, just Anfield Agenda, and of course on our Twitch channel, which is where you will find me on Monday for the watch along. Thank you for your time. I hope you all have an awesome weekend. Let me know your thoughts on Gvardiol, on N'Golo Kante, and of course on Youri Tielemans. Much love, my friends. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.